Closing a deal is generating an offer, an acceptance, and a start date. Now, there's a simple formula for closing, and it is getting the company to extend an offer which is equal to or higher than the dollar figure you've prepared your candidate to accept. Getting the company to extend an offer which is equal to or higher than the dollar figure you've prepared your candidate to accept. Now, the night before the offering interview is the wrong time to start closing. You see, the candidate already knows what he wants. Company already knows what they're going to offer him. The positions are already locked in place. The right time to start closing this deal is the very first time you talk to the candidate about the company, and we did. Back in step number 5, we did. And we closed the candidate at 44. What's the minimum amount of money that you would take? 44, and then we moved him down to 43, and he subsequently moved himself down to 42. That's where we closed him. And the first time that you talked to the company about the candidate, and we did, we said, I think it's going to take 45. I'm sure you can get him for 46. We want to keep that spread. We want to keep the company at 15%. We want to keep the candidate at 5%. Now, I want to tell you about the law of inverse gravity. There is a principle at work in your closes known as inverse gravity, and it works like this. No matter what number you close the candidate at, he goes to bed every night thinking to himself, should I have asked for more? Could I have gotten more? No matter what number you close him at. I mean, you can close him at 50%. He would be wondering if he should have asked for 60%. There's upward gravity on his number. Now, continuing with the law of inverse gravity, we have downward gravity on the company's number. We've closed them at 42. We've closed them, rather, at 46. Now, personnel brings that offer over to compensation. And compensation says 46? No way. This guy's got 5 years experience and a 2.9 GPA. The best I can do for this candidate is 44. Compensation brings it over to the line manager. Line manager says 44, not a chance. I've got guys in this group with 10 years experience who are only earning 39. Best I can do for them is 43. You see, there's downward gravity on the number at the company end, upward gravity on the candidate end. Now, a new recruiter typically doesn't start dealing with those numbers until the offer's about to come out, because the new recruiter has had his hands full with the process up to this point. And then when the offer's about to come out, the new recruiter says, well, I better start dealing with the numbers. And he goes to the candidate, the $40,000 candidate, says, will you take 44? Candidate says, yeah, I'll take 44. New recruiter goes to the company and says, he'll take 44. Will you offer him 44? Company says, yeah, we'll offer him 44. New recruiter goes, great, I got a candidate who'll take 44 and a company that will offer 44. But you see, tonight that candidate goes to bed and starts thinking to himself, yeah, I said 44, but I'd really like 45. Reverse gravity. And that company puts its $44,000 through the nibbler, and there's a nibbler at every company, and out comes that $44,000 offer at $43,000 for a candidate who wants a $45,000, and isn't that the longest mile? The $2,000 in between what a candidate wants and what the company offers. Well, how do you solve that problem? How do you fix it? You correct for it early. Real early, and we did. You correct for it by closing the candidate low and closing the company high, and we did. We closed the candidate at 46, candidate at 42, the company at 46, and then hopefully, after inverse gravity takes place and the candidate wants more and the company offers less, they'll still come in with an offer in excess of what the candidate is prepared to accept. That's how you close a deal. Now, it is the night before the offering interview. We say to John, John, how much is the offer? John has got the offer sitting in front of him right now. Sitting in front of him. And remember, we've had 4 conversations with John about specific dollars. There should be no surprises here. We've been talking 45, 46, 45, 46. John, how much is the offer? 42. That ever happened to you? Company comes in with a whole different number than you've been talking about? Well, if you haven't been talking numbers with the company up till now, you have no platform. You have absolutely no leverage, no ground to stand on at all. I mean, they've just come up with a number that they feel to be a fair number. But you have had conversations with the company. You've had 4 conversations. You've been discussing a specific number. They come in with 42. You think that's an accident? Is that an accident, that number 42? No. Somebody, or maybe several people, sat down and decided, let's offer them 42. That's no accident. Company's doing the same thing that you were doing before. Remember, you were testing to see if there's any play, any give in the candidate's number? Well, see, some companies do that all the time with lowball offers. They try to see whether or not there is any give. You see, those companies know that some recruiters are going to say, oh, no, you present it to him and tell me what he says. And other recruiters are going to take that offer and try to shove it down the candidate's throat. See, some recruiters are going to act out of weakness, and other recruiters are going to act out of greed. That's why companies make lowball offers all the time. They know they're going to get 60 or 70% of them through, and they save hundreds of thousands of dollars a year doing it. You know how a strong recruiter is going to react to that offer? Recruiter who's already closed that company at 46, or thinks he's closed them at 46. He's going to say, John, that's not the number that we've been talking about. So he's going to draw a line. John, that's not the number that we've been talking about. We've been discussing a 15% offer. That's a 5% offer. John, would you leave your own company for 5%? Oh, of course not. Of course not. John, when your own employees have gotten 5% offers, have you succeeded in giving them counteroffers? Well, sure we have, of course. Well, John, you're setting yourself up for the same kind of thing with Charlie. Come in with a fair number now and you'll get him. Come in with a low number and you're going to wind up bidding against his own employer. Now, John, I'm not going to make that offer. You see, a strong recruiter, a recruiter who's standing on principle, will say, I'm not going to make that offer. He'll give it back to the employer. And you can't do that unless you've been discussing specific dollars. If you hadn't been discussing specific dollars, you'd have to make that offer. Now, most employers who have been discussing 45, 46 right up to this moment will go back and redo the offer. They tried, they failed, now they'll come in with a good number. Some employers will jawbone you a little bit. They'll say, all right, you know, of course, that we're going to have to put it back through Seattle and Cincinnati, and that will take 2 weeks, which is a bunch of nonsense. If a company wants to put a piece of paper through the loop, they can do it in hours. Other companies will say, this is just a few, but other companies will say, okay, if you won't make that offer, we'll go around you and make it to them ourselves. 5 minutes ago, it was a lowball offer. Now it becomes a bad faith offer. If a company's going to go around you and extend a lowball offer that you won't extend, it becomes a bad faith offer. Now, your role in this whole equation is honest broker. You have to represent the interests of each party equally to the other until one party starts to act in bad faith. Then you have to advocate on behalf of the other. Company goes around you to extend the offer. Charlie now comes to you and says, they just made me an offer. I know, Charlie. It's $42,000. I know, Charlie. Did you tell him I was prepared to accept $42,000? No, I didn't. Charlie, if you have the right relationship with Charlie, he will now say, what do you think I should do? What do you think I should do? Now you have a problem. You see, you have assured Charlie that you would negotiate the best possible offer for him. He's got an offer in his hands which isn't the offer you think you negotiated. You don't think that is the best possible offer. Yet he's told you he would take $42,000. You got a $12,000 fee at stake, and he's asking you, what should I do? You got a problem. Well, ask him, what do you want to do? Charlie may say, I want to take it. Problem solved. Good. Accept it. Life is easy. Charlie may say, I want a little more money, which is probably why he came back to you in the first place, instead of just accepting it directly to the company. I want a little more money. And if he wants a little more money, make one more try. Go back to that company and ask for more money. The point is this. Put Charlie's interests in front of yours. Or if Charlie started to act in bad faith at the company, put their interests in front of yours. Never put your interests first. Never persuade Charlie to accept that lowball offer just because you have a fee at stake. You put the interests of the candidate first or the interests of the company first, and you will find that things fall into place naturally. Now, next scenario. It is the night before the offering interview. John has the offer on his table. We say, John, how much is the offer? John looks down and he says, $45,000. Now, this is a good faith offer, but now our mistake comes back to haunt us. Remember before we said to the company when we presented to the candidate and thereafter we said, I think you can get him for 45, I'm sure you can get him for 46. Recruiters have a tick, an affliction. They like to tell a company two numbers, the number they want and a number to soften the blow. Think about it. You know, there's always the number they want and a lower number. Well, I've never heard a company come in with the higher of two numbers when given a choice. They always come in with the lower of two numbers. If it's 46 you want, ask for 46. Don't soften the blow with 45. But this is a good faith offer. We said 45, 46, and he's made up an offer of 45. Okay. Now, here's how you properly extend an offer, by the way. You get John to give you the offer so that you can extend it to the candidate. And you get the candidate's authorization to accept at a number. That is the right way to get an offer extended. Because that way it's in your possession and the candidate accepts it without ever getting it in his possession. So we go to John. John, how much is the offer? He says $45,000. He gives us the offer. We go to Charlie, who has not authorized us to accept at $42,000. He has said he'd take it. An hour ago he said he'd take it at $42,000, but he's not authorized us to accept it. He says, I want it in my hands. So we go to Charlie and we say, Charlie, congratulations. Here's an offer. It's a $45,000 offer. And he says, thank you. Now I want to think about it. Has that ever happened to you before? Candidate gets the offer in his hand, having told you he would take it, and now he wants to think about it? Well, stay cool. Don't get upset. Candidate fooled us. See, we didn't want this to happen. We wanted that candidate to accept it. But he didn't. He has it in his hands, and now he says he wants to think about it. Well, we got to work this out. Charlie, what do you want to think about? I want to think about it. Yeah, Charlie, but what do you want to think about? Well, I just want to live with it a little bit. You heard that before? Charlie, what do you want to think about? Come on, get off my back. I just want to think about it. Of course, then we get to the real question. Well, Charlie, how long do you want to think about it? Well, I want to think about it until a week from Thursday at 4:30. Why does Charlie want to think about it until a week from Thursday at 4:30? Charlie, are you interviewing somewhere else? Well, I didn't want to tell you this, but I got another call from a recruiter on Monday, and they said they wanted to send me out to Raytheon. And I said, look, guys, I'm getting an offer on Thursday. And they said, Charlie, go out there, move fast. So I went out and I talked to these guys, and they're nice guys, but I said, I'm getting an offer from this company, so you're going to have to move real fast. And they said, Charlie, we're going to make you an offer too. You come back next Thursday and we'll make you an offer. And Tony, I just want to have both offers in my hand at the same time so I can make a decision between the two. You ever heard that before? Oh, yeah. Yeah, all right. Let's do a little logic lesson. Candidate has your offer in this hand, wants to wait 9 days to get another offer in this hand so that he can make a decision between the two. Which one does he want? All the time he wants this one. He doesn't wait 9 days to get this offer in his hand so that he can let it go. He waits 9 days to get an offer in this hand so that he can let yours go. Sure, all the time. So we can determine that he's going to wait 9 days so that he can get both offers in his hand. We're going to deprive him of that opportunity. We're going to say, Charlie, look, I'm going to have a deadline put on this offer. I'm going to make it expire in 3 days. We're going to force Charlie to decide up and down on this offer based on the merits of this offer. Now, some recruiters are going to say, but Tony, that might force him to turn it down. Yes, to liberate it so that your second candidate can get it. Unless you don't have the second candidate. You see, then you have to just sit back and watch your deal die, slowly, day by day, hoping against hope that he really, really does just want to make a decision between the two when you know better. Other recruiters might say, but Tony, if you put a deadline on that offer, that might cause him to accept it, force him to accept it, with the expectation of turning it down when he gets the other offer. You'd think so, wouldn't you? But in practice, that calls for a streak of dishonesty. And most people are honest. If he's intending to take the other offer, he just will turn this one down and take the other one. Next scenario, night before the offering interview. We go to John. John, how much is the offer? John says $45,000. He gives it to us. We go to Charlie, who has authorized us. He has authorized us to accept at $42,000. And we say, Charlie, congratulations. You have a new job. And the offer is $45,000. Charlie goes nuts. He says, I accept. Some of these things do go together, you know. All right? He says, I accept. And we say, Charlie, when do you want to start? And he says, 2 weeks from Monday. Good. I'm glad you're being so sober about it, because you're right. Deal's not closed yet. You see, when Charlie accepts that offer, the deal is still not closed, because he's got to resign. And if he's half the guy that your client company thinks he is, they're not going to want to lose him. And enormous pressure will be brought to bear to keep him where he is. Now, this pressure can take the form of a counteroffer. It can take the form of a title or a promotion. It can take the form of peer pressure. You know, in some large companies, employees get 10 attaboys in their personnel file if they can talk somebody out of leaving. You'd be surprised what someone will do for 10 attaboys. This pressure to stay can take the form of expressions of love and respect. Charlie goes in to resign, and all of a sudden VPs start coming out of the woodwork saying, oh, Charlie, we need you. You're important. I've seen a lot of deals go away just because a guy who felt overlooked, unloved, unappreciated, got a lot of strokes when he went in to resign. You see, companies realize that it is less expensive to give a little money, title, a few promises to keep an existing employee than it is to bring in a new employee who's going to cost more money, for whom there's going to be a fee, and who they're going to have to train. Now, most deals that are lost right here. And most of those are lost because of inadequate preparation. You got to explain to Charlie well in advance that when he goes in to resign, he's going to be exposed to that company's resignation drill. Every company has one. It's written down in memo form. They practice it time and again. They've executed it lots. The objectives of different drills are different. For instance, some companies, the drill is you go in to resign, and they show you right to the door with pictures of your kids in the shoebox. In that case, the objective of the drill is to get you right off the premises as quickly as possible. At other companies, the objective of the drill is to get information from you. You go in to resign, and all the doors start slamming around you. And stern-looking VPs start coming in saying, who took you out of here? And where are you going? And what information are you taking with you? You know, when they do mind control on you for 6 hours, the drill is designed to get information. At other companies, the drill is designed to keep you there. And sometimes it can be very subtle, very insidious. Charlie goes in to resign. And they say, oh, Charlie, sorry to lose you. You're such a good guy. Don't know what we're going to do without you. But go on back to your desk. We'll make life as easy as possible for you over the next 2 weeks. And then Charlie goes back to his desk, and tomorrow, a couple of his coworkers take him out to lunch, tell him what a critical member of the team he is and how hard it's going to be to work without him. Thursday, his boss takes him out for a beer, and they talk shop, football, the promotion he was going to get next quarter. This weekend, the president of the company pulls up to his house in a Rolls Royce to take he and his wife to the country club. The president, of course, who never said hello to him before. They may even go so far as having a going-away party for him, give him a couple of glasses of champagne, then say, Charlie, one more thing we want to run by you. One more thing we want to run by you. If they want to keep Charlie, there's a lot they can do. They can appeal to loyalty, to guilt, to vanity. Strong human emotions. Often with great success do they appeal to these emotions. Now, we are on the telephone conversation where Charlie has just accepted this offer. He's accepted it. He is sky high. Charlie, congratulations. You made a good decision. Ampex has big plans for you. Here's what they are. Now, Charlie, let's get right back to business. When do you plan to give notice? Press for an immediate resignation. If he stalls giving notice, this is a bad sign. When do you plan to give notice? Well, tomorrow. What time, Charlie? Hadn't thought about it. Well, pick a time. 10 o'clock. Great. Write it down in your book. 10 o'clock resignation. I'm going to write it down in my book. 10 o'clock Charlie resignation so that I can coordinate my schedule with yours. Get him to write it down in his book. It's a form of psychological commitment. 10 o'clock, resign. Charlie, I know you don't resign every day, so let me tell you what to expect. When you go in to resign, 3 things can happen. Number 1, they'll say, congratulations, do your 2 weeks. We wish you the best of luck. Sorry to lose you. Of course, we hope that's what happens. Then again, that might be their resignation drill. We don't know. Second thing that might happen is they'll say, Charlie, pack up your things and leave immediately. And if that's the resignation drill at this company, Charlie's seen it happen to other people. He's told us, and we've already arranged for him to be put on the payroll at the new company. And the third thing that might happen, and this is what I bet is going to happen, and recruiters, this is the most common resignation drill of all. Third thing that might happen, Charlie, is they'll say, Charlie, put off your decision for 2 days. We want to talk to you about it once more. You see, when Charlie goes in to give notice, he's slam dunking them. They're losing a negotiation they didn't even know they were in. And what do you do when you're losing a negotiation? Time out. That's right. It's the oldest ploy in the book, and that's probably what they're going to do to Charlie. Now, Charlie, when they ask you for time, you've got to tell them it's not a decision that can be put off. It's been made. It's history. It's final. Now, Charlie, is there anything your company could do to keep you? What's the number 1 going to tell us? He's going to say nothing. He's going to give you chapter and verse about his original reasons for wanting to make a change, about the things that Ampex has in store for him. Nothing they could do to keep me. If Charlie now says, well, if they made me an offer, I'd have to think about it. Is he a number 1? No. Are we in trouble? Do we have a problem? You bet. You bet. Now, I'll tell you this. There is no way that we could get here. If we've been doing our job right, there's no way we could get up to this point and then be surprised by that answer. I mean, we would have flushed that out a long time ago if we're doing our jobs right, but let's say we haven't flushed it out. We did get here. We say, Charlie, is there anything your company could do to keep you? And he says, yes. What we now have to do is talk him out of even considering that counteroffer before we take the offer away from him. Now he has the offer. We just have to convince him not to consider the counteroffer. Now, some recruiters have trouble convincing a candidate not to take a counteroffer. They feel that they have a conflict of interest. They have a fee at stake. So they can't be convincing when they go to discuss this situation with the candidate. Well, I'll tell you, I can talk any candidate out of accepting a counteroffer. I can talk your candidates or my candidates, anybody. You know why? Because in my years in this business, I've had lots of people take counteroffers. And a lot of my employees' candidates have taken counteroffers. I've seen them bite the carrots. I've had them believe the promises. I've had them turn down wonderful opportunities. And then I've had them back on the phone 6 months later saying, Tony, can you get me that offer now? And I've had to tell these guys, sorry. You know, we're messengers of opportunity. We crossed your life at that moment with a perfect opportunity for you to move up. You didn't take it, it's gone. Opportunity is a perishable commodity. And I have seen guys' careers end. I've seen them bend. I've seen them go backwards. I've seen guys confused, scared, broke, when they could have been sailing towards management. Yeah. See, I can talk to somebody before they take a counteroffer, before they even consider a counteroffer, and make them feel it, because I've seen too many people there. I've seen too many careers destroyed. Accepting a counteroffer is the most destructive thing that a person can do to his own career. But I'll tell you this, if you have a problem convincing a candidate not to accept a counteroffer, here's what I recommend you do. Start assembling a file of people who do accept counteroffers. And after 1 year, you will have a file of the best salesmen on this planet on the subject of why not to accept a counteroffer. Because you see, 9 out of 10 of those people will be on the street within 6 months. That's the statistic. That's Business Week's statistic. 9 out of 10 people who accept counteroffers are back on the street within 6 months. For 2 reasons. They've expressed disloyalty to the company. Company takes the first opportunity to get rid of them. And also, the reasons why they originally wanted to make a change in the first place still exist. So they're on the street within 6 months. Start assembling that file. And anytime you have somebody who's going to take a counteroffer, you put them on the phone with one of those folks. They'll do all the selling for you. Now, dictate letters of resignation from Charlie to his boss, and from Charlie to the director of personnel. The letter to Charlie's boss should say, "Dear boss, thank you for all of the knowledge I've gained during the years that I've worked with you. I've accepted a position with another company. My decision is final and irrevocable. Thank you. Truly yours. Goodbye." You should flesh it out a little bit. And the letter to the director of personnel should say, "I resign effective such and such a date. My decision is final and irrevocable. Thank you. Truly yours. Goodbye." Now, is that decision final and irrevocable? We hope it's final. The letters certainly don't make it irrevocable. The letters are one more psychological commitment. But dictate those letters. Say, "Charlie, I want you to type them up, sign them, and have them ready to hand off tomorrow morning before you go in to give notice." Now get off the phone with Charlie, call him up at 9:45 tomorrow morning. "You ready?" It's like a boxing match. He's going into the ring with Mike Tyson. "Are you ready?" "Yes." Get him pumped up. "Do you have the letters, Charlie?" "Good." Remember, you want to hand those off before you go in to give notice. Now remember, Charlie, when you go in there, you're going to be exposed to that company's resignation drill. We don't know what it is. They may make you a counteroffer. They are certainly going to ask you to buy time. Charlie, you got to tell them it's not a decision that can be put off. It's been made. It's final. The motive for getting you to put it off is to figure out a way to get you to stay until it's convenient for them to let you go. Charlie, they're going to appeal to guilt, to loyalty, to vanity. They're going to tell you you owe it to them to give them 2 days. You don't owe it to them. You owe it to your family to go home tonight with this thing resolved, with a clean slate. Now, send them in. In most cases, you'll get a call back from Charlie within an hour saying, "Yeah, I went in there, I did it, yeah, I was real nervous, but I told them that I was leaving. They tried to get me to stay. I told them there's nothing they could do to get me to stay, and I'm out of here in 2 weeks." In some cases, you'll get a call from Charlie in 2 hours from the corner with pictures of his kids in a shoebox. And then in some cases, you just can't get Charlie on the phone at all. Oh. And then when you finally do get him on the phone, he says, "I owe it to them. They just want 2 days. Does he owe it to them? No, no." And I'll tell you this, there is no good reason for Charlie to give them 2 days unless there is a slight inclination in his brain to stay at that company. No good reason. And if today ends with Charlie having given that company 2 days, they've begun to win and Charlie has begun to lose. Now, let's say that it was a clean break. Charlie comes out of there and says, "I am out of there in 2 weeks." Great. Stay in touch with him during those 2 weeks. Bring him out to lunch. Call him every day so that if the weather starts to change, you know about it. Have the client company take he and his wife out to dinner. Have them bring Charlie over and show him his office. Introduce him to the people that he's going to be working with. Make him understand he's not just leaving a home. He is going to a home.